Welcome back to the latest episode of NewOrleans.Football presented by PJ's Coffee. I'm here with Kevin Washington in the Oxnard Andrews Sports Medicine Institute podcast studio. We got a great show for you as the Saints get ready to go to Miami to complete Thanksgiving week and weekend full of football. Look, if you're going to buy a new car, it's shopping season. So what better holiday gift can you get than a new car from Matt Bowers? He's got dealerships throughout the Gulf South region, throughout New Orleans. Nobody will give you better customer care. Nobody will give you a better deal on a car. And if you want to celebrate your fan and be on the field, Keesler Federal is proud to be the official credit union sponsor of the New Orleans Saints. They're a non-for-profit organization, meaning their members always come first. You can enjoy lower fees, better rates, and everything else Saints fans need to help you get one step closer to living your dreams. All right, let's get into the show. The first topic is sponsored by Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. And we're going to do long-term confidence index. Kevin and I often take a long-term look at the team. They're now weeks away from figuring out if they're going to have the first pick in the draft, the second pick in the draft. If they sneak in a couple of wins, maybe that's the fourth or fifth pick in the draft. But let's go position by position and talk about, in draft terms, they always say musts. And then they go to needs, and then they go to wants, and then a luxury item, I guess, would be like they're covered there unless a superstar player gets there. I have a feeling there are no luxury items for the team right now. Everything feels like a must. But let's see if we can put them into certain categories. And I will let you decide on the order. Sometimes you like to jumble around. Sometimes you like to go straight up and down on the list. But let's go position by position and figure out, does this team have anything already set, or how much needs to be revamped and how badly?
Yeah, let's start with I'll bounce around because that's me. Let's start with tight end. Let's start with tight end. That's a spicy one. They just put some money into a tight end.
Yeah,
mixed results. Maybe better as of late, right? We're still figuring that out. So let's start with tight end. How do you feel about that position?
I guess I'll put it in the second highest category, need. I won't argue if you decide to put it in must, but Juwan Johnson, he's actually playing his best football now. He's certainly being incorporated into he's turned into a go-to guy for this offense, and that's not going to change down the stretch. So at least you've got someone there under contract that you know is going to be a part of the mix. But yeah, you can obviously upgrade the position. You obviously need to get younger at the position. Foster Moreau and Taysom Hill, we don't know if either one of them will be back or for how much longer they'll be back. Maliki Mataveo is a seventh-round pick they had.
I like how you just move with the name, Mike. Smooth with the name.
I tried.
It's all right.
I don't know if I got it right, but
it sounds good though.
I pretended to fake it until you busted me there. But anyway, he's not like the future at that position. He's been on the practice squad most of this season. So yeah, it's hovering between must and need. The only reason I would maybe put it in the second highest category is because at least you do have a player penciled in your starting spot next year. But when we combine it with receiver later, a big reliable pass catcher is obviously a must for this team.
Yeah, I think the last sentence that you said kind of solidifies the point where, if you get a big dominant tight end, then that reduces the need at wide receiver and vice versa. So, there's some symbiosis with these positions, I would say a little bit, but, not completely because, you in the perfect world, you just like both, right?
Yeah,
and so,
no kidding.
But yeah, I think you landed the plane in a good place with the tight end. Only thing I would add is that relative to the rest of the needs on this team, I would say it's hard to put tight end as a must, because there's so many other holes, and you do have someone who, I may eat this crow later, but I say he's serviceable, right? And he's looking better as of late. I put out the tweet earlier this year saying I would bench him. I don't know if that would be the case now, but at the time, that's how I felt, and I stand by it.
He's one of the people actually rising as this season goes along for sure.
Yeah, maybe his stock rises as Shook stock rises, because it seems like with Shook in the game, maybe there's a little bit something there, right? And so, he had a really good first game. He had a really good diving catch at a certain point too. So yeah, I think a need is a fair position to go with.
let's do receiver now since we've
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Yeah. Go ahead with
and we're both going to call that a must.
I think I have to go must at receiver. I think I have to go. I don't think
if you drafted a Brock Bowers, then maybe a receiver can become a need instead of a must. But barring that, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and like if the blue chip tight end is there in the late first round, wide receivers there, take the blue chip tight end. Even though we have wide receiver as a bigger need, right? In an ideal world, wide receiver is a position that you can see them needed. We have an interesting question later. I'm not going to spoil it, but it's something that'll kind of come back to this with a potential wide receiver. Okay, let's stick with the skill positions, and I think this may be one of the unanimous ones. Let's go with running back.
I'm going to put it in the second category. Need only. Well, it's very similar to what we just said, but only because I think you have bigger fish to fry. Like Nick and I did a topic earlier this week on whether you could take that running back, Love in the top 5. And I'm just like, man, with all the needs this team has and it needs to rebuild for the future, I don't know that you can solve. I don't know that I'd feel any better about this team if they got their great running back in round 1. But they need a running back badly. I mean, it's a must. It's a must in that sense. I would just rather fill the must in round 3. But yeah, there's no question. I mean, Alvin Kamara, we'll find out if he even got that last year on his contract left in him. I assume he does. And Devin Neal, who we're going to talk about in a later segment, he's promising. He's part of the mix. Kendry Miller started to show promise. He's part of the mix, but they don't have their number 1 for 2 years from now. I don't think anywhere on this roster. So I'm still going to go need, because that's kind of I can scrape by at that position while I put my foundation in place, but it's a must in the sense of they've got no solidified plan for the future.
Yeah. That's fair enough. I understand where you're coming from. I'm gonna try to thread this running back needle a little bit. I think it's a must, but I don't think that you can use maybe you can't use a first or second on the pick, right? So relative to position value, and I don't usually do this all the time, but I think that you absolutely can't use this high pick on a running back, right? Like say Genty was a really highly graded running back coming out of this past draft, justifiably. You put him on the Saints team, and I don't know if he's really, I just don't know if he's the answer. The
Look at the Raiders.
Look at the Raiders. Exactly. So I think that you need a really good running back on this team. You need some stability there. Alvin, we don't know what his long-term prospects are. I don't know how he didn't get out. I don't know how he's not out for the year with the way his knee bent. He's like made out of Gumby or something. But, essentially, Neal, you feel good about maybe some early returns, but it's not something that you're willing to say, you're my franchise back. Kendray's, that experiment may be over, just relative to his ability to stay healthy. So yeah, I think it's a need. I think it's a must-have position, but I don't think you can
You can't leave the draft without it. You can't.
Yeah, but you can't spend too much of your capital, right? Trying to address.
Might not be a first round must, but it's a must.
Third. Once you get into the third, I'm starting to look. Second would be you got to be blue chip. Like really, really good to be.
That's where a lot of the guys come from, though. Like even that, it could be pick number 33 or 34 or 35, and that's where you get your Jonathan Taylors and your Derrick Henrys. Since the league lets them pass, Trevion Henderson and Judkins, and that's where you kind of get your sure thing. Like third round, you become a little bit more 50-50. Second round, the league.
You did it once with Alvin, man. You just got to run it back, right? Yeah.
I'll go to you, so you can go first on one here. I'm trying to find maybe a want instead of a must or a need.
Let's go with tackle.
Could this be? How about linebacker?
Linebacker. Okay, we jump into the other side of the ball. I would say linebacker is gosh, I'm gonna regret this. A want relative to the rest of the needs on this team.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, look, and you have somebody in Stutzman and you have somebody in Stallbird that you're interested in looking at in the future. For all we know, Demario Davis is still going to be
Well,
here
I was going to
next
start
year.
with Demario. I was like, Demario, like he's going to outlast them all
Yeah,
at this point.
exactly.
You know,
So we can put that in the want category, but everything's a need on this team, man.
I mean, Arvell Reese is a linebacker, though. So,
Sure.
big
For the purposes of that question, I meant interior linebacker.
Yeah.
Let's go right to it, though. Edge rusher.
Edge rusher. Oh, that's a must. I mean, that's like a must. Like what's higher than a must? Like a mandatory,
Bold capital letters, exclamation point.
It's like one of the vital organs that you just are operating without. Like you have no heart right now.
Is it number one for you? If I gave you a draft board next year and I had 4 different players at 4 different positions with the exact same grade, do you take the edge rusher?
I take the quarterback.
Fair.
I take the quarterback because I know Arvell Reese is going to have a high grade. So if you give me a quarterback with an equally high quarterback grade as his linebacker grade, then that's your franchise, right? That's bad logic. But that guy is not in this draft neither. So with this upcoming draft, I don't know if that's possible with equal grades, but I get your point. Like if you just are putting them all on the equal plane, then I'm going with the signal caller. But I think pass rusher. Let's we did wide receiver already. Need pass rush. I mean, must wide receiver, need wide receiver. Which one pass rusher. Which of the two would you say is a higher need out of edge rusher and wide receiver?
Or pass catcher in general. Pass catcher or edge rusher.
Sure, yeah, we can expand.
I think they're tied for how badly they need it. But I'm gonna break the tie by putting edge rusher number 1 on my list because I think you got to get when you get the chance to draft someone in the top 5, you get your chance at your Myles Garrett or your Aiden Hutchinson, and I don't feel like all due respect to Trey Hendrickson, I don't feel like you find those guys later. I think it's almost impossible, and I think it's really hard to find them in free agency. Whereas wide receiver, there's enough of them out there in the world that you can maybe decide to spend $30 million a year on someone else's wide receiver, or you can trade for one, or you can draft one in the 2nd round or the 3rd round, or you can maybe find a Puka Nacua if you get lucky. You can take a lot of swings at it. Like I feel like edge rusher is a more precious commodity. Like you got to go top 5 to actually solidify that spot. So it would win a tiebreaker for me, but the need to fill that spot is equal.
Yeah. I would say that I would probably go edge rusher also. I think with a wide receiver, if you got a good offensive play caller and a wide receiver that does a few things good, maybe not everything, you can draw up some plays and maybe, now that hasn't been the case this year, but you would think a talented offensive mind would be able to take the strengths of you get a couple of a wide receiver group, and different guys have varying strengths. You should be able to put that together into a package.
Let me ask you about quarterback since you mentioned it. I agree. Everybody has the same grade. You take the quarterback, especially if you're picking 1st or 2nd. You rarely ever pick there. But is it? I mean, we've got 6 weeks to answer this question, and I don't think it's been decided yet. But are you hovering toward must or need or want right now for quarterback? Like in the sense of we got to leave this draft with one. That's what makes something a must.
As it pertains to this draft, I am. So those are 2 separate questions because as it pertains to this draft, I feel a certain way. And then as it pertains to the quarterback position, I feel a different way, separate from how I feel about the draft quarterbacks, right? So I am not in love with the quarterbacks in this draft.
Sure.
If you don't love these quarterbacks as much as you need one, I think you should pass on them. I think you have to be convicted on the quarterback. And I know personally, I don't have that. And I think that's how, your team stays bad, essentially, right? I think that quarterback is it's a must for this team, but it's not a must for the draft.
Okay. I understand what you're saying because I tend to agree. Like if I had to choose right now and I'm not allowed to get any more information, I don't make it a must. I still might draft Fernando Mendoza if we go through the whole combine process.
Right.
Love this guy. This guy could be our future. But I don't necessarily say, sorry, we can't draft any other positions. This has to be the quarterback draft. I mean, we have no other choice. I'm not there yet, but we will talk about it again in a month.
I mean, listen, it looms. It looms large, like over this organization, right? It's like the number one thing. But yeah, I just think that, like, if I would take, like, again, if a blue chip pass rusher is better than a question mark at quarterback at this point with this team where you are, given where, when you just look at things holistically, and, there's a chance that Shuck, and, we're doing the quarterbacks now. I've seen enough to make me wonder if you can run with Shuck for a year, right? Like, he's put enough on tape to say, it's worth finding out for the rest of the year. Like, it's enough for me. I've seen enough for him to delay my take, right? And I wasn't sure that was going to be the case, because I could have saw him after 2 and 3 weeks and be like, all right, well, I mean, young quarterbacks need time, but we have to react in the moment. And in the moment, his first 3 games, I'm like, yeah, maybe you can play him for a year.
Maybe it gives you the luxury to wait until you find the quarterback you want.
Or maybe he just needs to develop into someone you can play with, right? There's a range of,
I'm not sold on him, but I would like, if he keeps this up, I would like another year.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him neither, but I'm sold on being intrigued by giving him another year.
I think we're on the same page there. Yeah. All right, let's go fast through the other ones. Corner and safety. Let's hit them both at the same time. Where are you on each one?
Safety is, man, they need a safety. I think that's interesting. That's a really interesting position.
I'll start what you think about it. I was hovering between need and want at safety. You've got Justin Reed and Jonas Sanker penciled in as your 2 starters for next year. Reed is under contract for 3 years. He's a good leader. He's, for a team in transition right now with its leaders, and Sanker, obviously I want to see more of him, and he belongs in the lineup. So the fact that you have your 2 starters penciled in at that position, I guess I got to put it down in the want category. Doesn't mean you can't draft Caleb Downs.
I'm gonna say if Arbor Reese comes off the board from the Titans at number 1,
right,
then you got to take.
That's what makes it a want. You can leave the draft without taking one, and you're not like, oh man, now what are we gonna do? You don't have to go out in free agency and sign another 3-year, $30 million safety, because you do have 2 that are penciled in as your starters. So I think that makes it a want, but obviously you need more depth, and there's room to upgrade.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page. I'm going want. Again, seeing Caleb Downs there, knowing that may be a situation, it kind of like puts the light bulb on the head. But when you think about team need, relative to what they have on the roster right now, I think one is a good place.
Corner, I'm going to go need. I don't know exactly how we would label this if they re-sign Alontae Taylor. If they're running back next year with Alontae Taylor, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quincy Riley, I still think it's a need. I don't think there's a number 1 in that bunch. Mm-hmm. So maybe you've got 2 2s, and whatever Quincy Riley is, can he get to the level of a 2? And if those are your 3 guys, does it stay a need? Does it become a must? Another one where obviously, if it's the highest rated player on my board, I take it without batting an eye, and I make everyone else fit somewhere else. But if they re-sign Alontae Taylor and they've got Kool-Aid, who still I think is just a high-end number 2. And Quincy Riley, young developmental guy. I'm glad he's in the building. Maybe that could keep it at need level. But if they don't re-sign Alontae, it's obviously a must.
Yeah, I think that just when you look at it in like isolation, you could probably say it's a need. I think for how Staley plays defense, I don't really know if there's a ton of value in drafting a high corner, because he's trying to do this. He's trying to pattern match, right? And just the style of defense that he's playing, he's trying to keep things in front of him. That's not a Marshawn Lattimore high-end man-to-man corner that you're looking for. So, going with the Staley theory of defense and how he's playing it, I can't put it as a want, because that's just too low for such a valuable position, especially when you don't have any you don't have any players that you feel really good about, right? Like if someone said Kool-Aid is going to have a bad year next year and not be, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be like, okay, well, dang, that sucks. But like none of these guys, it wouldn't shock me if things didn't work out, right? Second contract. But I just think the style of defense that Staley likes to play, I think that you can get by with what you have at corner if you can figure out some stuff up front. So that does muddy it a little bit, my view of it, because I'm putting a scheme into the decision making.
Yeah, I guess it's fair to call it a must, though, if we're including the fact that Alante's a free agent. You must fill.
I think it's a must.
You must fill one of those three spots. If you fill it with Alante, then you can bump it down to a draft need.
But I don't think it has to be draft. I think you can, if you re-sign a slot in free agency, and if Alante walks, then it doesn't have to be draft.
But you can't just say you're set with McKinstry and Riley and let Taylor go. That's for sure.
Yeah, because you don't have a slot.
We're going to finish with another pairing, but since we're talking about this and Staley's defensive tackle is kind of tied to edge rusher. If you get that monster edge rusher, then maybe. Or I should say, I would flip-flop it. If you get Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, if you get a monster
Geno Atkins
at defensive tackle, maybe it nullifies a little bit. It's kind of like we were saying with tight end and receiver. If you find that guy from the defensive tackle position, it kind of nullifies your edge rusher need a little bit. But, I mean, defensive line as a whole is my number one must. Defensive tackle, I mean, I think Brian Brzee is part of this team's future. I think Devon Godchaux will still be here next year. I don't know if Shepard will be. He's playing okay. You really need to upgrade it, but maybe it's a need instead of a must. I must address my defensive line if I'm the Saints in one way or another. If you do that at edge rusher, maybe you can bump this down to a need. But this is bordering on must.
Yeah. This is a tough one because I'm not really impressed with Brzee at the moment. Yeah. I'm just not.
He started really promising.
Yeah, I think the rest of the team having the issues that it's having is kind of quieting the noise around his play a little bit, but it's not appealing, right? I don't think that he's just not a factor in the pass rush, interior pass rush in large portions of a large amount of games. I don't know if I see him part of the future. If I'm in the front office, I don't know if I re-sign Brian Brzee. He's not.
Well, they got to give him that 5th-year option. They got to decide that.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe go with the 5th year because
that's pretty high. It's gonna be pretty high.
Yeah, I mean, but at least you can it's not a long-term commitment, right? You can date him for a year, but yeah, and so I want to put this as a need, as a must. Actually, I want to put it as a must, but
it's really close to a must for me.
Yeah, but it's a
kind of like our tight end wide receiver discussion, but you got to address it in some form or fashion. But yeah, it's close to a must for me too. It's high up there for me.
Yeah, and I think it's a must because it affects your run defense significantly. I think the biggest problem on defense right now, I think the run defense is worse than the pass rush potentially, and the pass rush is bad. And so I think that figuring out the middle of your defense, right? That's where, and it's either the linebackers, the safety, or the defensive tackles. I think in this case, it's the defensive tackles. So I think you should, but I think you should, and I don't want to spend too much time on defensive tackles, but I feel like you should be able to build a good run defense.
Yeah. And Godchaux won't be here forever. So if you draft one high, you're
I don't think he's part of the solution either, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
But I feel like you should be able to find guys like Godchaux to come in and solidify your run. That's a tricky position. I'm gonna go with need. I can't say that they must leave the draft for the defensive tackle, but man, they're just not good there. I think Shepard may be the best one at this point.
It's really it's high. Shepard won't be here forever either.
Yeah. So that's a tough position for this team.
Okay, we end with offensive tackle and offensive guard. I think we're going to have the same take on this, and they're tied together, but I will let you go first.
Let's go with tackle. I think tackle, it's probably a want or a luxury, right, at this point. I think a tackle is probably a luxury, depending on how you feel about Fuaga's health and long-term prospects. I don't know if you kick him in the guard. I keep saying that. No one else is saying it, so it's probably not going to happen. But yeah, I just think that's probably a want, or we can probably go with luxury. Or I'm cool with want or luxury for offensive tackle. I don't think it's something they need to address.
Well, I would say guard is a must for me. And I think Cesar Ruiz has looked worse in the games where he's been paired with a struggling right tackle or a struggling center. But, his future is going to have to be evaluated. Obviously, they have a hole at left guard. The offensive line, the run game hasn't been nearly good enough. Like, I think it's a must. And I would also agree that offensive tackle is sort of a luxury or a want. But there is that scenario where if the offensive tackle is the guy that you take in round 1 or round 2, and Fuaga could be moved to guard, you're kind of solving both issues. So offensive line overall.
Man, if they take another tackle, man.
Yeah, look, you haven't got. Don't let those past stints prevent you from getting this right, because they need that offensive line.
Yeah, I just don't know if they can.
They're a body away.
You can't. I mean, do you think you can run back? I mean, you got Penning 1 year, Skip a year.
Yeah.
Fuaga. I mean, that's 4 offensive tackles I don't know. I'm losing count.
Yeah.
Right, in 5 years.
And like Caesar in 2020, and Caesar in 2020.
At some point, you got to realize you're not good at it, and just I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Guard is a must. I think that, again with Ruiz, I think the left guard situation kind of masked some of his play over there on the right side a little bit. They don't have to. I feel like Dylan Rates isn't a starting NFL guard. I don't think that you should. I think you have 2 guards that you need to replace. So I think drafting one at some point is probably a must. Yeah. It's one of the bigger needs on this team, surprisingly. But again,
it might be.
Position value. Usually, you can get a good guard in free agency. We'll see what the crop looks like this year. I haven't done the research. I haven't looked, but I think that's a problem.
It's hot. It's really hot.
How much pressure? There's pressure coming down the middle all day against this team. I mean, Chuck is dealing with pressure right, like in front of him, not on his periphery. So that's a problem. Let's look at center.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess I put center and guard together, interior, but yeah. I mean,
I think they're a little different because you got a guy who is great but isn't available.
Yeah.
So that's tricky.
You're right.
I would consider trading him if I can get a good pick. Just being honest, I would a good team that needed a blue chip offensive lineman, and if I can get like a late second or something from McCoy.
Oh, I don't think you can get that now because of the concerns that you just described. But if he would be more of if he's playing at his Pro Bowl level and he's healthy and he's going strong and someone's making a trade at the deadline. But coming off the season-ending injury,
it's not going to happen.
I don't know if you're getting a late.
You got to catch the team when they're making a playoff push. The deadline is coming and they're desperate. Yeah, but I just don't think his timeline matches with the timeline of this.
No, that's totally fair. But I mean, there's so much more screwed without him.
Yeah, and you've learned to play without him.
Yeah,
every year you just are learning to be a team without him, and so it's just the concept of him is
you haven't learned to score more than 20 points a game without him, though. That's for sure.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair.
Punter is a must. We'll find out if kicker is a must at the end of the
man, I think those are but they're draft luxuries, though.
I don't know. Punter might be a draft must for me. They've been messing around too long at that position with
drafting no punter
with whatever they can scrape together. All right, we're going to take a break after that. Deep dive first segment. We'll be right back after this break.
Whether you're an athlete or just trying to stay active, Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute can help get you moving and keep you moving. You'll have access to the highest levels of specialized care, nationally renowned expertise, the latest equipment, and modern facilities, including a convenient walk-in orthopedic clinic when you need care fast. From the field to recovery, Ochsner Andrews Institute is there to help move your healing forward and get you back to what you love. Learn more at ochsner.org/ortho.
Rouse's Markets is voted best grocery store in New Orleans, best grocery store in Baton Rouge, Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Thibodaux, Houma, Hammond, Lake Charles, Mobile, year after year. Thank you for choosing us best grocery store on the Gulf Coast. Number 1. Thank you.
Thank you.
The number 1 grocery store
in Mississippi, Alabama,
Louisiana. 1 million customers a week can't be wrong. Welcome to Rouse's.
I used a home equity loan from Keystone Federal to fix up the garage. Woo! Because living your dream means living your way. And the kids take the field.
It's not even game day.
NewOrleans.Football show is proudly presented by PJ's Coffee. PJ's Coffee has some of the best drinks that you can find. They have locations all over the city. They have pastries and everything else you need to get your day started. So go check them out. I don't play favorites with our sponsors on the show, but one of my favorites for sure is RV Masters. You guys have been watching our show lately and you've seen our awesome new van. That thing is decked out. And the best part about it is I took it up to RV Masters and I was like, this is what I want to do, but I had no idea how I wanted to do it or how to get it done. And they took care of it from start to finish, brought me out for updates, were giving me new ideas, and they made it exceed my wildest dreams. And they will do the same thing for you. RV Masters offers full service RV, motorhome, and travel trailer repair. They have preventative maintenance and service packages for your RVs, your AC, your generators. They specialize in solar and lithium upgrades, satellite TV, and Starlink. They'll take care of you if you get into a collision. Whatever you need, they got you. And I can speak from experience because they definitely had us on our new van. I cannot vouch for anyone more than I vouch for RV Masters. RV-Masters.com. Go check them out.
I believe it, I can see it. If it's in my sights, I achieve it. Ain't no leaving, no defeating. Show up, complete and repeat it. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready?
Get game ready. Play game ready scratch-offs and fast play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Yeah, they want me to quit, I can't stop it. I'm out of this world, I'm like a rocket. And you can never be us. We not afraid of the pressure, cause we good in the clutch. Yeah.
Get game ready. Play game ready scratch-offs and fast play from the lottery. Win up to $100,000. Enter the second chance drawing for a chance to win up to $1 million.
Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency, is a longtime partner on this podcast, but the truth is, I was advertising them to my friends and everybody I knew long before they ever jumped on this show. And I'm going to tell you why. Every 6 months, my car insurance policy comes up, and every 6 months, I get a call from somebody from there telling me I need to change it or stay where I'm at. They're shopping my policy constantly to make sure I am getting the best possible deal. That means money in the bank. And those are the type of people you love because, look, we all live here. We all know how it is. The insurance rates are out of control. You need somebody watching your back. And they actually really do it. And I was with them before they ever asked me to be with them. So they are people that you need to be doing business with. And if you are going to look up their insurance, make sure you are looking for the Earhart Agency. Those are our guys. There's a lot of Shawbear insurances. The Earhart Agency is the one you want. I can speak for them. Real life, real support, real good business, real money saved. Call them up today. Shawbear Insurance, the Earhart Agency. Hardhide flavored whiskey, Ponchatoula strawberry, and Chilton County peaches in your favorite bars, stores, and restaurants. Hardhide Chilton County Peach Whiskey is a blend of aged wheat whiskey, light American whiskey, and fresh Chilton County peaches from Alabama's Durbin Family Farms. And Hardhide Strawberry Whiskey tells the story of a small town famous for strawberry farming. A delicious natural strawberry-infused 86-proof whiskey for whiskey lovers. Just look for the red and orange bottles in your favorite stores, bars, and restaurants.
All right, welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. Our next segment is brought to you by Louisiana Lottery. Look, Devin Neal, the opportunity is impossible to ignore right now. I think he was probably the hottest pickup in fantasy leagues since Alvin Kamara's looking like he's going to miss maybe multiple games. You know, never count Alvin Kamara out for when he's going to return. But Devin Neal should get a chance to prove. I don't think number one, like every down, like 30 touches.
Running back there. I mean, he is.
Would you put him in your fantasy lineup?
I would put him in my fantasy lineup. I think that's clear. I think you put number one running backs in your fantasy lineup. The first thing I thought about with this question is Kellen Moore going to let him make a fantasy impact? Because there's a guy on this team. He wears number 7. Okay. And if you're a running back for the Saints, he will take your fantasy points. You will drive all the way down the field. This man is on the sidelines. He will step into the game in the red zone and just suck the fantasy points out of your number one running back. So
Yeah.
for that reason,
A really good point.
I'm hesitant on being like, oh, this, big Devin Neal fantasy explosion because,
Yep.
you got the disease of Taysom, just
They look. They couldn't
ingrained.
even find. And look, their red zone offense in particular is so awful right now. And we talked about the injuries on the offensive line, and they have no receivers left. And touchdowns are going to be hard to come by. I think Alvin wasn't scoring touchdowns. Yeah, Devin Neal's not going to score touchdowns. Yeah, I do like what we've seen from Devin Neal in the passing game. And so he'll be well-rounded in that sense. He won't just be a
runner ball,
like Bill Krosky-Merritt in Washington, where all he does is get the runs. This is a guy who will be involved in their passing game. So PPR leagues and stuff like that, good fill-in if you've got injuries and you need somebody to get you by. If you had Alvin Kamara, pick up Devin Neal. But yeah, limit your expectations. A touchdown is going to be extremely hard to come by.
For two reasons, for Taysom Hill and for the red zone problems, right?
Exactly.
So it's a lot.
If they get in the red zone this week, they get in the red zone. Third and goal from the two. Who score? Who do they try to have score the touchdown? You think it's Taysom, or you think they don't beat their head against the wall again? I'm going Juwan.
I think that everything that they have shown me on film up until now tells me that Taysom Hill is getting that football.
You know what? I think Tyler Shuck could run one in.
I think he could. We don't know who else can run it because Taysom is always running them. Like, we don't know if Devin Neal is a good red zone running back. We don't know if Taysom. We don't know if Tyler Shuck is a good red zone quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much we don't know because I think Kellen Moore and Taysom Hill are barriers in a lot of ways to the evaluation of these young players, like the young running back who may be good, the young quarterback who may be your future. We're leaning on things that they're not forward-looking concepts to, and we can't really make an evaluation. So I would love to give a different answer than Taysom Hill, but Taysom Hill is my answer.
I think they learn from what doesn't work and what gets criticized. I think they go away from. He'll be in there a little bit, but I think we'll see a little more Tyler Shuck.
I got to see it.
If they even get.
I hope you're right. Prove me right. I hope you're right, Mike. By the way, I hope you're right because I would love to know. I would love to know if Tyler Shuck can throw a pass, a red zone touchdown. I just want to see it. I want to know if he can just throw a pass down there. Let's try it. So.
All right, Chabert Insurance brings our next segment to you. The Earhart Agency is the particular branch you want with Chabert. They take good care of us. They'll take good care of you. Listen, we could do a whole show on this, but just real quick recalibration. Now that they're going into Miami, a game that once we probably looked at as winnable, and now it sure doesn't feel all that winnable. What is the best case scenario for the rest of this season? Does it involve a couple more wins? Should they be seeking wins? How do we determine what's a success for the rest of the way out for this team as we try to watch?
Yeah. So I think about this in two different ways. Eventually, a team needs to learn how to win. Mm-hmm. I think eventually a team needs to learn how to win. You need to learn how to get into the fourth quarter and be in a close game, maybe be down, maybe have to make a stop, maybe need to get a first down, maybe need to run a 4-minute drive. There's just certain things you have to do, right, to learn how to become a winning team. And I think you learn how to win by winning. Breakthrough in technology right there. But I would also say that I don't know if that necessarily, and I'm not saying they should tank, because I don't think tanking in the NFL really works. Not like overtly tanking, like you're going into the game to lose. I don't want to watch that neither. But I don't think it's in their best interest to win a bunch of games against against teams who are in the same position as them, as it pertains to like where the Dolphins are. Like if I ran that team, I'm getting rid of the head coach, the GM. I'm cleaning it out. Like, this isn't working. The Titans is not working. The Jets are, if you beat the Jets, it means nothing. If you beat the, whatever, these teams who are basically the bottom feeder. So I don't think it serves them well to beat those teams. I think, so answering the question, that was kind of my setup. I would say growth in Tyler Shuck is the number one thing.
Number one.
If you can see him grow into somebody who you are willing to go into the season to start next year, that's your best case scenario. Best case is that he solidifies himself as a franchise quarterback. That's probably not going to happen, right? But I think, a close second would be like, man, I'm excited about him. There's some things he needs to grow about. There's some things he needs to work on, but he's shown enough as a quarterback. And then you can go into your team building phase, building around him, maybe building some, drafting the edge rusher, maybe even, I don't know, drafting the tackle, solidifying the O-line. That would be horrible, but whatever it takes, right? So to me, that's the best case scenario is Shuck being good, not beating these teams who these wins mean nothing. I hate to say that, but like, just a win against the Dolphins it's not impressive, right? And so I think that would probably serve this team the best over the long run.
Yeah, I mean, it is a conundrum. You don't want to win 5 more games and ruin your draft pick, but I think the wins still have to be the goal in the sense of you want to feel better about Tyler Shuck. You want to feel better about Kellen Moore. You want to feel better about Brandon Staley figuring out his defense. You want to feel better about Banks and Fuaga. You want to feel better about Kool-Aid. So as long as maybe Justin Reed, like as long as these are the guys who are leading you to victory, I think that's more valuable than picking a few spots higher. I think it'd be great to figure out a way to thread the needle and feel awesome about yourself while you lost 31-28,
I mean, but think about the difference between having Michael Parsons and not having Michael Parsons. I get it. But it's like a big deal. Like if you got him, then you are a certain thing. If you don't have him, then you are another thing, right? So,
no, I completely agree. I wish there was a way to feel good about the team and
win
pick first.
Yeah. I think, but I get your point.
I don't want Atlanta games. I want Carolina games if I'm the Saints. They felt good. They were energized. Guys were gaining confidence. You're figuring out who you can count on. You got to play in those 4-minute situations. You got to play in those situations that matters. Being down as much as they were against Atlanta, I mean, it's disheartening, deflating. It makes everyone look bad. I still think a couple wins would benefit this team. But look, all that's out the window if you decide Tyler Shuck's not your guy. If you need a quarterback in 2026 and you're taking a quarterback in 2026, then don't win another game.
Yeah, I think their needs are mutual. I think the problem with the Saints right now is that the best things for this team are mutually exclusive, right? And that goes into the conundrum you were talking about because, I really think the best thing to do is just not beat these bad teams. Again, these wins, they don't serve you well, but it also gives you a vision of Kellen Moore long-term, right? If he can't beat these teams, if you win one game this season, you have to think about the head coach. I don't care how recently you hired him. You win one game, I'm looking at the head coach, right? You have to. I don't care. It's part of the process, right? You can't win one game or win 2 games and just think that, all right, well, it was injuries, young roster. No, I mean, I think that's a little bit different. So if in the best case scenario that I gave, the head coach, it doesn't paint a pretty picture for him, right? In the case where you paint the pretty picture for the head coach, then you lose out on some other things. So I just think they're mutually exclusive, right? You can't have one without the other. And so it kind of just paints this weird picture. So,
well, I have a hard time believing his job would be in jeopardy, but certainly the evaluation of him, our evaluation of him, the team's evaluation of him, he is a guy who absolutely needs to show something over the next 6 weeks. Show an ability to adapt, adjust, rally.
And I'm not saying that
this was a down week for him for sure.
I'm not saying they should fire him, by the way. I haven't said that. I think they should look at him.
Yeah.
I think everyone should be looking at him right now. He's showing he hasn't shown traits of a head coach long term, right? That you want to see from a head coach. And
I think he's more under the microscope and that's the dark downside of losing games right now.
That's the point. That's the point.
Is he was kind of, look, he's a young coach. We were evaluating him here and there. They got the Carolina win. This is the first time he's been this much under the microscope, and that's how much a home loss as the favorite to Atlanta hurts. So losing to the Jets, losing to the Titans, it turns dark. There is value in taking care of business against the teams you're supposed to beat.
In the season where we've seen incompetence, right, at times, like incompetence in the red zone, incompetence against Seattle, incompetence with penalties, right? And so, and again, I'm not saying that they should fire him. I think that's early. He's young. Let's get to the end of the season and have these conversations. but again, losing that, it helps the team long term, but it makes you look at the coach. And I think that's really, it's something to pay attention to as we kind of walk through the rest of the season.
All right, our next segment is brought to you by Aaron Rose. This is the first trip to Miami for the Saints since the Super Bowl, since their Super Bowl win over the Indianapolis Colts. You only play at AFC teams every 8 years, and 8 years ago, their game at Miami was actually in London. So it's been 16 years, which is wild. Here is a classic, Mike and Kevin. You listen to us on the Members Only pod, and we often try to come up with some fun segments. One that we've done before, but we will revisit it for these anniversary purposes. Take one player. We've talked about all these needs. Take one player from that Super Bowl team other than Drew Brees, and you get to draft them all over again next year. Who is it?
Okay. So before I get into that, Mike, and I'll get into it. I just want to acknowledge how crazy that game was, though. Like that Dolphins game was just.
Oh, well, the regular. So look, I'm talking two different things. Yeah, they played the Dolphins in the regular season that year. Crazy game, and then the actual Super Bowl itself was also there. So two of like the all-time wins for this franchise 16 years ago there.
Yeah. That game, man, I just remember that game being crazy. So just when I think about that game, like them being down, like what was it, like 17-3, then 24-3, and then Ricky Williams is looking young, and Wildcat and Pat White, I think, and then they're doing the Wildcat, and then you got pick sixes, Darren Sharper. It was just like
Reggie Bush diving, Drew Brees leaping, fourth and one,
double reverse. Yeah, it was just
the goal. Drew Brees dunked over the goalpost. It was crazy.
Yeah, and then he had the worst spike I've ever seen when Drew spiked the ball like this, and then he had the thing where he kind of put the ball over the goal line where he did this little Drew thing. So. It was I would say it's a game that encapsulated the 2009 season perfectly. Yeah. So I just wanted to spend a minute on it. It was just one of those games. Okay, so take a player from that team, and
you get to draft them all over again next year. It's not in the past we've said who would you add to this current team, but look, this team's not one player away from going to the playoffs or whatever. So I tweaked it to. You get their whole career, and you get to build around them starting next year.
Someone from that team. Yeah. I've thought about this, and I'm going to go with just one of the guards, man.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with one of the guards. It don't matter. Pick one, you need
Jari Evans, Carl Nix.
Yeah, you just need one on one side. But the reason I say is because look at the top needs of this quarterback. Right, you can't pick Drew. Obviously, that'd have been like a no-brainer, right? And so, what do they need? They need a cornerback. Greer, but they didn't draft him, so that's not someone. Porter, I don't think he wasn't like blue chip number one corner like that. You get to the linebackers, I don't think that's a super high need. There really wasn't a dominant tight end on that team. Running back. You had Reggie, Mike Bell, but that's not someone you feel like is going to change this team. I think offensive line, specifically the guards, have a chance to significantly raise the bar from what they have now, even though the position value is super low. Actually, given the amount of interior pressure I'm seeing, it may be the best choice, but I'm going to just go with one of the guards. It's hard not to.
Yeah, look, I mean, Marcus Colston and Jonathan Vilma deserve consideration. You didn't mention Pierre Thomas when you were listing the running backs, but I mean, I had the same answer as you.
I will say that to Colston, the reason I thought Colston because they could use a big body in the middle of the field, and so he kind of like came to mind.
No question. He deserves mention, but it's hard not to go with a potential Hall of Fame guard when we said it might be their number 2 need.
And he's still in the building, right? He's still in the building.
Will Smith as the edge rusher. I'd take him on this team. He'd start on this team. He's not necessarily the Myles Garrett, but he would improve this team greatly. But yeah, Jari Evans is the Hall of Fame caliber guard. Carl, I probably agree. They're probably my number 1 and my number 2.
My number 1 and number 2, yeah.
I don't need both of them, but I would like one of them.
I would take both of them, man. I do need both. Actually, Mike, they do need both of them.
It wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad. All right, we will be back with the Get Gordon question of the day.
Are you ready to buy your first home, wondering if now's the right time to refinance, or maybe you're thinking about getting into real estate? Whatever play you're trying to run, the pros at MortgageBros.money have the game plan. If you're a first-time buyer, the Mortgage Bros will break down every loan program, help you build a budget that works, and even check if you qualify for 100% financing or down payment assistance. They'll guide you every step of the way because buying your first home shouldn't feel like a Hail Mary. Heard that rates have dropped and thinking it's time to refi? Don't just guess, get real answers. The Mortgage Bros will review your situation for free and tell you if it's time to make a move or keep waiting for an even better rate. And if you're ready to start investing in real estate, don't let that old 20% down myth stop you. The Bros can show you a home hack that might get you up to 3 doors to rent with little to no money down. Here's the best part. The Mortgage Bros work with you for free. You'll never pay them a penny. They're not bankers, they're brokers. That means if your loan doesn't close, they don't get paid. So they're just as invested in getting you approved as you are. Because let's be honest, signing up for a 30-year loan without a pro on your team is like trying to run the offense without a playbook. You don't need to know every role in the mortgage game. Your pros already do. So go to mortgagebros.money. That's mortgagebros.money and let the bros be your pros.
Score big with kickoff combos at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company. Don't pass on your choice of our seafood combos or our slider specials. Served with a side of garlic herb fries. Run in now for specials starting at $9.99 at New Orleans Hamburger and Seafood Company.
I got hurt in a car wreck. Why should I get Gordon?
Because when you're hurt, you need money. And I fight for the people of Southeast Louisiana every day. I got a client who injured their neck in a car wreck, $250,000. Another client was hit by a big truck and needed back surgery. I got them $700,000, and they deserved every single penny.
That's what I'm talking about. Why wouldn't I get Gordon?
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, just call me, New Orleans. Get it done.
Call 504-800-8888.
You ever take a bite of something and immediately think, yeah, I'm coming back for this? Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant just added some new dishes, and man, they crushed it. The shrimp and crawfish pistolettes, golden and stuffed with bold Cajun flavor. Fried oyster tacos, crispy, fresh with the perfect kick. And the soft shell crab Alfredo, creamy, rich, and absolutely worth the order. They're open 7 days a week, and they deliver late. Bobby Hebert's Cajun Cannon Restaurant. Delicious food, superior service. Whether you are a local New Orleanian or a fan in town for the game, get your pre- and post-game fired up at Aaron Rose. Local chaos and local love for the black and gold. Wake up and live with daily drink specials, mimosas, screwdrivers, Bloody Marys, and hot or frozen Irish coffees, all just $3 or $4 between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Aaron Rose, half a block from Bourbon Street in the French Quarter, 811 Conti Street. Attention Saints fans, don't let pests and termites invade your home field. Trust a team at Red Pest Solutions to tackle those unwelcome visitors. Call the Red Man today for unbeatable pest and termite control. Score peace with no pest. Visit redpest.com, REDDPEST.com.
All right, welcome back to NewOrleans.Football. This is the Get Gordon question of the day, brought to you by Gordon McKernan, Injury Attorneys. Stole this one from Nick's mailbag that he does for the members only from Arto, but we talked a little about Tyler Shuck in this episode. He had a good question. He said, does the way Shuck performed on Sunday, neither really good nor really bad, mean that he's most likely not good enough to be a win because of QB, or is it still too early to make such a prediction? The answer is yes. It is too early to determine that, but I think it's a fair question. I think that is what Tyler Shuck is going to have to prove to us. Right now, I would put my largest bet on him being a you can win with quarterback, but that rare era of win because of, he's going to have to show us that. And that's why we were saying I'd like to get the whole 2026 season to see it. I'd like him to show enough this year that we can have a whole year to see it. But ultimately, I think it's a long shot. I think it's a long shot that that's what he is, but we can't rule it out yet.
Yeah, I think it's a long shot too, but I think all young quarterbacks are long shots, so I'm probably just dumping him in a pool.
We're not offending him by putting him in the same
it's not offensive, man.
Everybody else.
You're trying to play the hardest position in sports. You know, it's going to be a little hard. Like, don't be upset with us. I think that, that game, I didn't come away from that game saying Tyler Shuck, we lost. Like, Tyler Shuck can't be a win because of that game. Because I think that he didn't even have the chance to show that this past game. I think they ran, was it 15 or 21 plays in the first half? which, you know, it was just they didn't possess the ball. And then Shook didn't have an opportunity to put the ball in the end zone because, you know, the head coach and offensive coaching staff took it out of his hands. Now, maybe that's because they don't trust him. Maybe because they love Taysom so much more. I don't know why, but I think that everything for Tyler Shough right now is still in evaluation stage. And I think that's the key about it. Like, we don't really know much about, you know, it's 3 games into a rookie season, right? And then one of them against the Rams, and the other one, you know, it felt like the game just kind of really, I don't want to say sabotage, but from his perspective, you know, you don't run a lot of plays, the coach is taking you off the field, and you've got pressure coming at you from every way. So I think we still have a lot to learn about Shough, but I don't think that's a fair take to take away from that game, but it's probably the right take long term.
Well, it's the number one reason for me to watch the last 6 games of the season. You keep trying to answer that question. Look, you can watch the next game if you are an NOF member with Kevin and with Nick and with Adam as they live stream every game for members only. And then we will see you back here after the game at Miami.